What is up, you guys? This is the Yeet Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Hadlock, and your co-host here, Shannon Bradford and Tyson Belknap.
What's up?
So we are not sure what we're going to talk about today. We're just going to kind of talk ice fishing, talk about how crappy of a season this has been so far, and just kind of hope that we're going to have a good conversation about ice fishing, right? So.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about recent trips, and hopefully you guys can get a good feel of what the ice has been. And we want you guys to kind of comment your recent trips below, too, because we want to see if you're having what we're having. So,
Yeah.
And we want to hear about you guys brave enough going out, too. I mean, I know when I've gone out, we'll get into it, but it's been rough.
Yeah.
It's beginning of the season was kind of some excitement, but yeah, we want to hear your guys' struggles, too.
Uh-huh. Let's hear it.
Well,
Start it up.
So we usually record these podcasts on Tuesday and then post the next following Monday. But yeah, last week we had the podcast Tuesday, and then Wednesday I went out. Went and hit Huntington, and it was before the storm hit, so it was just perfect ice, clear ice, no snow on top. 3 to 4 inches was awesome. Dropped down the underwater camera, got some good footage there. Caught tons of fish. I caught more splake than I did tiger trout.
Dang.
Which has never happened
yeah.
before.
That's sweet.
I usually catch more tiger trout than I do splake, but yeah, super cool. If you don't know, those are both hybrid trout. A tiger trout is a brown trout and a brook trout hybrid,
Yep.
and then a splake is a brook trout and a lake trout hybrid. So both hybrids, they're both super aggressive, grow really fast because they're not thinking about making babies.
Yep.
So they're putting all their energy, all the resources into just growing.
Mm-hmm.
So super fun fish.
Which one do you prefer?
Ooh, I think tiger trout are prettier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with that.
Tyson?
I think splake are more fun to catch, but yeah, tiger trout are prettier.
Yeah.
Sometimes those tiger trout can be like those splake and like chase it, but I feel like the splake play with it more.
Yeah, splake, they'll like rise up and down like a lake or something.
Yeah,
that's cool.
so a little bit more fun to play with there.
That's
That's
cool.
kind of my practice for lake trout. I feel like if I'm doing it right with them, then I can do it right when I can finally catch a lake.
Yeah.
Some of the underwater footage I have, they're literally like straight up and down
That's
with my
crazy.
tube jigs. So it was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they do have that Laker strain that makes them pretty aggressive. So that is fun, I agree. They have pretty fins though, that orange little band like a brook trout has, you know,
Really?
Yeah.
some polka dots. But
Wow.
I don't know, I still think tigers are prettier.
Were you catching bigger tigers or bigger splake out there?
Bigger splake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Which I feel like is weird because they were just recently stocked, so
Yeah,
they're just doing a lot better. And
they're doing really good.
yeah,
There's a ton of food for them. There's tons of shiners in there.
Really?
So, tons and tons. So, yeah, they got tons of food. They're all super fat and chunky. You can feel the minnows in them.
That's awesome.
So,
and about how deep are you fishing?
10 feet. I was only getting to 5, but where I was at, so there was 2 trees they had fallen down. And I know from fishing open water that they're like 10 feet into the water.
Yeah.
So they extend out pretty far. But kind of in that area, the ice was a little thinner.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't get into the 5 feet range. But
Dang.
yeah, no, it was really good. And then caught a bunch of fish then, and then the following Monday I went out again. So yesterday from when we're recording this, and I wanted to go hit Scofield because Taylor hit it that weekend, and it was pretty. I don't know. I got a little scared with the edges are pretty thin and super slushy. So I ended up driving through the mountains to Huntington again, which that road's not plowed, and I drive a little Toyota Corolla. So it was a little sketch. It took a long time. Like I just had to keep moving the tires to dig down the blacktop and finally get traction the whole way. So
That's fun.
Dang. Crazy.
yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyway, I had like 2 hours of
You made
fishing
it.
after it. I made it. Caught some fish. So
What are the conditions at Huntington?
Huntington, there's like a foot to a foot and a half of slush.
Whew.
On top of like 3-4 inches, I'd say 4 inches of ice. So the ice is fine, but when I was there, it was the slush was already hardening up pretty decent on the surface. So
That means there's going to be about 2 feet of ice there. soon.
yeah. Here soon when it gets cold again, it'll be pretty thick. But
Dang.
I I've had a goal for like the past 2 years to catch a trout on a tip up. And I finally did it.
Hey.
Yeah, finally
Nice.
just settled down and put, I dropped a big 4-inch chub on a tip up, and then, caught 3. Boy, hooked into 3. Actually, brought 2 to the hard deck. So
Dang,
Sweet.
that's crazy.
super cool. I got it on film too, like the underwater camera facing the minnow.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
sweet.
I got the take, and then you see me like waiting for a couple seconds before I set the
Pulling them
hook.
up.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
It was cool.
Nice.
So that's my recent trip.
Nice.
So,
Let's hear about yours.
No, let's have you go first because he just talked about the lake I went to. So
Yeah,
let's
that's true.
have them get an update and then
on Scofield.
Yeah.
So, I went to Scofield. Luckily, I hit it on a decent day where there wasn't much snow on the ice. It was probably about 1 inch or 2, but it was scattered throughout it. So there was patches that was just pure ice and then patches of snow. So I just walked on the clear ice just to make sure. Snow, it was slushy edges, little soft edges. So I just had to kind of work around, find the different patches that were good to get on. Seemed to be fine. I checked like 4 or 5 different spots and got on the lake. So,
Okay.
but we were catching like 95, 98% rainbow trout. Like it was just stock trout after stock trout after stock
Really?
trout. Yeah.
You got a good one there too.
Yeah, I caught a decent. It was a 19-incher. It was fat, but yeah, he gave me a good fight. It's hard to get him up through the ice through that 2 to 3 inches of ice.
Yeah.
And so I finally got him up and on. So he was fat. He was a good prize winning fish right there. And then we probably hole hopped 5 or 6 different spots. Finally got on some cuts.
Just so weird out there.
Yeah.
Like generally I'm
Usually
catching
cutting,
yeah,
yeah.
hand over fist.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was pretty crazy. And then my buddy was saying that he got a fish to the hole, and he starts yelling. He's like, "This isn't a trout!" And I'm like, "What?" And so I went to stand up because I was like, "What does he mean it's not a trout?" And as soon as I stood up to take a step forward, it then popped off. And he's like, "It's kind of like a perch." And I was like, "What?" So instantly I was like, "Oh, it's a chub. Like, you just hooked into a chub." But then he's like, "It was fighting like super good. Like, it was almost kind of like a dinner plate, and it was white." And I was like, "White?" I was like, "It was probably a wiper." then." And I was like,
Yeah.
and so I was thinking he was going to say brown. But I was like, "Oh, it's a chub." But no, when he said white, I was like, that thing had to have been a wiper, which
Yeah.
he doesn't know exactly. I was like, "Was it kind of like a white bass?" He's like, "Yeah, actually." And I was like, "Wiper? Are you freaking kidding me,
Wow.
dude?"
That'd have been so sick
That'd
to
have been
land,
so
get pics
sweet.
of and video of.
know.
Yeah.
That's the first wiper I've ever seen that coming that close to getting
Yeah,
landed
that's
on
cool,
the ice.
dude.
So
Through the ice, it's sick.
he said we were in about 30, 35 feet of water, and he had it about 3-4 feet above, and it came up and hit it. So
Okay.
pretty crazy. He had just a little pink tube jig, a atomic teaser. So those are always a good little starter.
Well, there's hope for the people that want to do this tournament then,
Yep.
which is going to be held where?
December 16th, Scofield Reservoir. Hopefully we have ice. So
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
praying, people. This is only from the day that this comes out, 5 days away. I don't know, do math. It's Monday, so it's coming out Saturday. Tournament Saturday. Go sign up.
Yep.
So it's gonna be good. We have probably over $2,500 worth of prizes.
Lots of prizes.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting, yeah.
So it's gonna be good. We are excited. So I want to go fish it again this weekend, hoping that the ice will be good enough, but not sure. So might go hit Huntington because I haven't ever caught a splake through the ice.
Okay, there you go.
So
Yeah.
I need to check
There's
that
some good
off.
splake in there.
I haven't actually ever caught a splake, I should say. So
They're fun.
They're fun.
We'll have to get you out there.
yeah,
They
jump
do
just right there.
chase pretty good, yeah.
A lot more fun.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So
It's a cleared lake too, so you can sight
Really?
fish.
Yeah.
You can sight
ooh,
fish them
I
really
might have to
easy.
get the 10 out there then.
Yeah.
Probably do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we ended up doing. Decided to go to Huntington just because I knew Scofield wasn't going to be frozen or I didn't want to risk it. Sounds like we went out the same day. You went out Saturday.
Yeah.
We get out there and it's just cold. I'm like, okay, this is good. Like, I'm kind of stoked about this. And my buddy, and then if we get around to the lake and you start seeing patches, and we're like, oh no, like, did the storm ruin the ice? So I get out there, my buddy goes and starts spud barring before we drag the sleds down there. and we're good. Except there's about a foot of snow on the ice. And so start dragging out there. And I need to get a new sled. Like, I'd blown the bottom of my sled out.
Oh,
I figured
man.
after dropping it out of the truck. And so dragging it was just kind of almost shoveling it.
Scraping snow.
And my buddy decided that he wanted to go to this spot clear across the lake. And I'm sitting there dragging the sled. I'm out of shape. So definitely some motivation to get in some shape there. But we get up to the spot and everything, kind of avoid the slush. And we decided, since it is clear lake, we'll shovel everything out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of make some spots, just have our chairs on the spots where there's no slush. Well, that turned into a lake in probably like an hour.
Yeah.
It was bad. So caught a couple fish through there. My buddy kept wanting to go out and do some recon and see if he could catch other fish, but he didn't catch fish for 3 hours. With how that weather and the wind was, like, it was, you find fish, you don't leave fish to go find more fish, was my opinion in that case. It was so bad that we actually had the tent cave in with the wind. Luckily, it was staked down, but had to get out, ratchet strap it.
Honestly, that's why I didn't set up a tent because it was so windy that I was like, it's not even gonna be worth fighting it.
It honestly was, because it was snowing hard and the wind was just blowing all the snow up too. So it was honestly a lot more enjoyable, especially with the person we went out with. He was not prepared. Didn't have waterproof gear. And didn't really realize that until I just see him like, hey, bro, can I see the heater? And I was like, yeah.
Like, get on this heater.
Like, yeah, dude, like, it's over in the corner. And I look over at him. Granted, I got a new float suit, so I'm sitting there just all toasty and stuff. And then there's my poor friend, just old snow boots soaked. And I'm like, dude, you should have let me know. I felt so bad because then I would have hooked him up with my snowsuit too that I was getting rid of.
Oh yeah,
and it would have just been just lack of communication there and preparation. But had some good success. Caught pretty good tiger trout, pretty good splake. 15 inches was about my average, and then I caught a tiger trout and a splake about this small. I couldn't even believe my one splake got a jig in his mouth. He was tiny.
I caught a few of the splake too. They're like 7 inches.
Like,
what the heck?
How did you fit this in your mouth?
Yeah.
And I was kind of switching it up. That's what I was using. Using either a tube jig, a little small one, and tried using a big one. I feel like they were pretty timid. Like it was really weird. They'd chase it and be committed, and then just not snap at it.
Dang.
And it was just a really weird first ice for me.
Really?
Like, I haven't had fish be that timid on first ice.
Really?
Probably the storm had something to do with it. A lot of snow. Their conditions change rapidly, and then they get a lot of pressure on the ice.
Definitely.
I'm sure that played some part into it, but it wasn't as hand over fist as you'd expect it to be. You know.
Yeah.
Probably took 30 to 45 minutes to catch that first fish.
Really.
Just happy to have some luck there, but you never know how the fishing's gonna be. That's why they call it fishing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
The fishing was pretty good for us at Scofield. It was just a matter of they were coming in regularly, and so it's just a matter of if they were hungry. If it was like a school would come in, mark them. 2 minutes later, another school would come in, most likely get one. So. I was catching them on that big tube jig too.
Okay.
Like rainbow trout.
Yeah.
Typically, I can't get them on that.
Yeah, that big
they
tube.
like the smaller stuff, and so we got a couple on the big tubes.
See, and it got to the point for us where it's like you see them come in all the time, and they're just not interested, and you almost get to the point where I'd almost rather not mark anything, knowing they're down there and I can't catch them.
Yeah.
But end of the day, we got 20 fish. I guess I'm spoiled for first ice and expect a lot more. But that's a pretty successful day, fat LD fish.
The when I went before the storm on Wednesday, it was the underwater camera. The most fish I counted at one time on the screen was like 16.
That's crazy.
Insane, dude. It was wild.
Yeah,
that's first ice action right there.
Yeah, it's first ice action.
That's why you get out on first ice so you can get that hot action.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's
I had
crazy.
A bunch of fish though, so I was using a tube jig. I had a bunch of fish bite the head of the jig instead of the hook
Really?
end. Bunch.
Should have been throwing a ripping wrap.
I tried that too, but it doesn't have it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, and I had him chasing the swivel too, and I'm like, dude, wrong thing. Like
Swivel, they're chasing your swivel.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, come back up here,
That's
come back
funny.
down here. But
Oh, that's
it was just,
funny.
it was cool. It was a fun time.
Uh-huh.
We ended up going back up the dam just because of how much it had snowed a ton when we were out there. Like we had decided we're not leaving until the storm blew over.
Mm-hmm.
It was that bad, but
Huh.
went up the dam and got back out. We're supposed to get another storm Friday, I believe.
Yeah, it starts coming in Thursday-ish.
And then I know it snowed Sunday too, so I wonder how much snows up there. Cause when it snows, it dumps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, up there in the mountains.
for real.
In the mountains.
Hopefully this week, I mean, it seems to be a calm enough week, so hopefully it kind of helps settle it down,
Yep.
freeze it up. So in that way it's not just a massive layer of slush.
Yeah.
You think it would within a week, right?
Yeah, within a week and a half. Yeah, it should
I mean,
harden up
by
good.
the time it was that cold that by the time we were leaving, where we were setting up and stuff, how you kind of pat the snow down and it's slushy.
Yeah.
That was all frozen. And so that was kind of hopeful. We're like, what we should have done, and this is a smart idea. My buddy, so I went with a buddy from Minnesota that I actually bought ice fishing gear from. And we ended up, this is our first time going out this year. So going out, and he's like, yeah, what we do, and it's really slushy out there in Minnesota, is we'll kind of stomp the slush down and everything, and then we'll go fish another spot in the slush for an hour, and then come back and have a solid place to set up on.
Smart.
Freezes up.
Yeah, it freezes up pretty quick.
I was telling you something similar, but I didn't. That's smart you're telling me that wait an hour. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Stomping it down definitely works a lot. But
huge.
leaving it to freeze for
smart.
a little bit, that's
Time to
Prime.
think of that.
solid.
Yeah, then you're good. And I was like, dude, that's genius. I mean, you're going to be, especially if you're going with people, it's kind of hard to do that because my main goal when I'm going out with people is to make sure they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And so setting up the tent, catching fish.
You can't do that with your wife. Or,
Yeah, exactly. You can't be like, nope, you'll.
You gotta go suffer for an hour.
Sorry, honey. Ice isn't ready for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
great idea.
you might be able to pull it off, like, hey, nap in the truck for an hour.
That's
while
true.
I go set up.
I go set up and everything. And that's actually, I think we found a loophole to
That
get
could.
guys
Yeah.
out there.
That could.
Like,
That would work.
because that's probably the worst part for taking the ladies out is setting up, waiting for the setup because they don't really know how to help.
Yeah, and they're freezing.
And
Don't like,
I've done that before. Told my wife just wait in the car with the dogs, and then I go set up and go get them. So there you go. Tip up of the week.
There we go.
Pack it down, wait an hour, good to go.
And what I do too, here's another tip up. I take a cot out for her. And so
You let her just hang out. on
just
it.
let her take a nap, dude, while I'm out there fishing. And
That's
another thing I
So
do.
you're like, honey, take this pill with you too. Take some Benadryl. You got your allergies. Don't want to get allergies on.
don't want to get allergies on the snow. I hear you sniffling over there. It can't be because you're cold. But another thing I did is I was like, well, she gets bored on the ice. That's what she complains about. I bought her a Switch for her birthday. So now we go out there, dude. I have the Jackery, so it's not going to die. And she can play the Switch while I'm
There you
fishing.
go.
So,
You're good to go.
Heck
yeah.
Pump that heater up, turn it all the way up to high.
Yep, naps and video games. Sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, fireplace, basically. It's basically a fireplace.
Exactly. Unless you get it soaked
Yeah.
by catching fish. I learned don't have it too close to the hole,
Yeah.
especially when it looks like a lake. But, yeah, we ended up having to shovel snow because we wanted to see the fish catching them through. I'm like, dude, this ice is clear enough. Like, we can shovel it off, kind of see how catching the fish, or even look down your hole and play with them.
Yeah.
And then it just got so watery and slushy, and we ended up having to go out and pack everything down in snow again. But
Totally. I hate slush. Last year was so slushy.
It was pretty bad.
was
It just
bad.
snowed so much last year.
Yeah.
well, the fact that we have it on first ice has me
I
worried,
know.
fellas.
Yeah. First ice slush is kind of weird.
It is odd.
Did you guys both went to the gorge last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How was the slush down there? Because I know the roads getting in were gnarly, just because
I
they
don't
were
remember
just.
it being slush.
It wasn't bad for us. We heard further up the lake because we went down by the confluence, right? Or not the confluence. By the
It
whatever.
was south of the confluence, south of the marina, whatever marina.
Buckboard Marina.
Buckboard?
Buckboard.
Yeah, we were
I think
south
it's
of that.
Buckboard Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were about 3-4 miles south of that. And so, but further up the lake, that ice had been formed for a few weeks prior. So the snow had built up. But We really only had like inch or two of snow on top of the ice.
Wasn't bad at
so
all.
It wasn't
It
bad.
was packed down too. So.
Yeah.
And that buckboard road is pretty well maintained. I heard a couple people that decided to take kind of those forest roads and had kind of a gnarly time.
Yeah.
And
The wind was what was bad. We only got like
terrible.
a 4-hour window the whole
Yeah.
2 days where it wasn't windy. That's where we
Really?
built that bonfire on the ice.
Yeah. Our last night there.
Last night. Yeah.
It was bad. That wind was terrible. And then when we left, when we were driving away, oh man,
Yeah,
that was bad.
bad.
We got to the gas station and ran into the gas station real quick, and it was like, you better book it or else you're gonna freeze, because it was cold.
It was
like
cold.
it just was like to the bone as soon as you got out the door.
The
Like,
wind was howling and it was cold.
still wearing your suits.
should have been.
Should have
but
been.
It was chilly. Other lakes. So Huntington, you got Cleveland and Electric up there. Is there any ice on those?
No, not electric. Cleveland's frozen.
Okay.
Haven't really
I've
seen.
never fished Cleveland.
Yeah, I haven't
neither.
either. Haven't seen really any reports. I feel like it's not that popular of a
It's
lake.
not as
It's hard to get
popular.
down.
I do know
That's
one
a hard
year,
hike.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, I went to go visit my grandparents. That was that lake a couple episodes ago I was talking about, where I went to go fish it and
There's no water.
Nothing.
walked down it, and it was gnarly snow too. Like, I'm walking up to my waist and get to the point and I'm just drilling down and I'm like,
Getting dirt.
I shouldn't do this. I should be doing this, because that's what it was back in the day. And it was a hand auger, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's dirt I'm kicking up. Like, walk out a little bit
funny.
more, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna kill myself.
Ruining blades too.
Like, I'm gonna ruin my blades.
Dang.
And the snow was just so bad, and yeah. But so I wonder if there's even a lot of fishing
Yeah, it's
that's
probably all
popular there,
Smaller stock trout, probably.
'Cause-
Probably.
and it's not really worth the trek if
Yeah.
you're just gonna catch those smallies.
Mm-hmm.
But
So Electric Lake on the north end there. You didn't
North
see
end
any?
has ice, yeah,
Okay.
but
That-
I didn't go out and check it.
Yeah.
but yeah, I did see ice on the north end.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, some of those coves are freezing over. But
Nice. It looks like all the other lakes, I just see like edges build up. There's been a couple spots that have had it, but nothing's really stayed, nothing's really grown. So we're getting there.
getting
It's
there,
almost there.
getting close.
We might have to wait till February, but we're getting there.
all I'm asking for Christmas is ice.
Yeah, we're like 3 weeks,
Ice,
2-3
baby.
weeks late,
Yeah.
like as from the average. So
Which
Yeah.
we are a lot higher on water this year. So
yeah, that's probably
Which-
playing a factor.
Yeah, I think beginning of November, we had like that really cold streak that kind of got us excited for a second.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
and
And it
then
went right away.
it was bombing for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then we got a little bit of a cold snap. Now we're kind of like, what, 48 today?
Yeah, it was
47?
It was toasty in the valley.
Yep.
Warm.
Yeah, all the lakes are freaking capped, bro. Like, well, not capped, but like so super full.
Uh-huh.
That's,
Super
yeah,
cold.
that
Very
does play
cold.
effect to it as well, which is also a benefit because you don't have as far of a walk down there.
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
yeah. Healthy fish in the future too.
Very
But
I
healthy.
think they said like Deer Creek's like, what, 90% full?
Yeah.
something like that.
Uh-huh.
Utah Lake is like
Rumor has it
way high.
it's questioned to even cap this year.
I don't know if it will. I mean, it's 39 degrees right now. 39.9 is what they said today. So
Yeah.
it's warm.
And there's a great river source that was very active on the ice fishing page that
Yeah.
has said he doesn't think it's going to cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll
It could
see.
drop in January. That's when it typically freezes, I feel like. So.
Yeah, it's usually later for sure.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't cap. Like last year was rare that it
Yeah.
caps. It's,
It had capped the year before too,
Yeah.
but it just
but only for a
wasn't
couple
long.
of weeks, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very short.
Very short.
Yeah.
So but last year was pretty much capped for what, 2 months almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good amount of the season. They even allowed machines out there. They changed that rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Which
because
is
it was
crazy.
capped so good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then the idiot drove sorry if you're watching this, drove a little Toyota something or other with a trailer on the back of it and it got stuck.
What was it? It was like a little Subaru or something.
I don't know what it
It was a
was.
Prius.
Was
It was a
Prius?
Prius. I have a screenshot. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I show a lot of people.
Could you imagine if he's watching, listening to this?
I know. But to make you feel better, I've done some stupid stuff when I first started. I drove a Mazda 3, and
onto
Didn't
the
have
ice.
a third gear. No, didn't drive it onto the ice, but didn't have a third gear.
Oh.
And so one time I was going down a boat ramp. I'm like, okay, cool. But it was pretty slick. And trying to go from first to second and like, or be low was not working out. Because
Dang.
I couldn't get it into third for like extra traction and low, but.
Dang. So I got a question for you guys. Since the lakes in Utah are not freezing up very well and very quickly, you guys thought about fishing out of state? If so, what lakes like would you want to go hit?
Cascade might be frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cascade, Lake Henry up in Idaho as well.
Doesn't that one have Lakers? Lake Henry?
I think
Yeah.
Henry's. I think it just has cutthroat and
Yeah,
rainbows.
they're massive.
They're big.
Okay.
They're fatties.
Big old girls.
Their average puts strawberry to shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be
Yep.
good.
But if we're talking about dreams here, I'm going up to Canada.
Ooh,
But-
I'm down.
I think going to the, like those just alpine lakes in the middle of nowhere where you fly into them.
Oh, that'd be
fly
sweet.
in
Yeah.
and go catch like
Yeah.
loads and loads of walleye.
Uh-huh.
And they got pike in those lakes too. And, oh, dude.
Yeah. Lake of the Woods, I'd want to go there.
Yeah.
That's
Lake
on
of
my
Woods,
list.
Yeah.
Manitoba.
Uh-huh.
One of those Manitoba Masters.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
Dude, they're catching walleye like we catch freaking trout at Strawberry.
It's
Yeah, no,
ridiculous.
I was talking.
Yeah.
Ripping them up, bro.
It's like, come on, share some with us, people.
I was talking to my buddy from Minnesota this week when we were out there, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, like, your walleye for us is like trout for you guys. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm actually stoked. He had caught his first splake this weekend, and he was super stoked about
Yeah.
that. And like, he's like, we're more excited to catch trout than we are.
Man.
That's cool.
Walleye.
Like little girl about his little trout.
And I'm like, dude, that's just, it's a completely different fishing demographic over out there on that side.
Yeah.
Same with pike. They get, let's call them snot rockets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're just not excited to catch those.
Yeah, it's true.
Where-
You watch the videos of Jay and them, and it's just like, oh, it's just a little pike. You're
yeah.
like,
That's one of my pet peeves
Yeah.
is when somebody from Utah calls a trout or calls a carp or just calls any other species a snot rocket other than a pike.
Yeah.
A snot rocket is a pike.
yeah.
Don't call anything else a
Uh-huh.
snot rocket. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a big old
Well,
long
and-
loogie is what it is.
I've started to realize though too, like kind of watching those videos of Jay and Clay and stuff. Like we do have a fishery that is just as good as theirs at Flaming Gorge, like to catch some of
For
those.
Lakers.
Yeah, for those Lakers, and not only that, but those burbot too.
Yeah, the bourbon
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, and apparently those are fresh man's lobster or poor man's lobster. There is what they call them. And haven't tried it. Have you guys?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
Like it.
Really?
I wasn't a fan, but
Do you like lobster?
yeah, I like lobster, but I don't know. I'll have to try it.
Didn't taste like lobster.
Yeah, it didn't taste like. I mean, they smell bad and they're like greasy as greasy gets, and like impossibly hard to fillet, and I don't know.
Huh.
It was just a pain. I'll try it again, but I'm not like.
You didn't have the right person cook it up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had to do the cleaning,
Yeah.
the catching,
Right.
and all
Next time
that.
I'll just catch and let you cook it up.
Yep, exactly. If you don't have to deal with the cooking, I mean the
Yeah.
cleaning,
Yeah.
might be a different story for you. But
You know.
what about you, Taylor?
I'd go to Lake of Woods. I'd be hyped to go up there. I've been debating going up to Idaho too, but I'm like, yeah, I don't. It's a long drive, but
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we've been talking. There's a pond up in Idaho.
That's
that
true.
freezes that has sturgeon in it.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we
This
have
guy
talked about it.
this guy has this private pond that you can pay for like $25 or something a day.
But 20,
And then if you don't have the gear, you can rent it from him, buy some bait and stuff. But you just fish, and we have a buddy that goes up there regularly, and he's catching some tanks, catching them like 30, 40 a day.
Yeah,
like,
well,
it's a lot.
one of those ponds where you just catch like
Yeah.
over and over and over again. You wait a couple minutes and boom, you're getting hit. And then you fight it for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably
you
10
get-
minutes, closer to 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
cast it back up. I bet he's got to be so sore,
Uh-huh.
like wrecked.
Oh,
sore.
totally.
Yeah. Wow.
He
Yeah.
said that someone went there during ice season, dropped a camera down, and he's like, "Oh, there's a sturgeon." Dropped it down further. Oh, another sturgeon, another, and they were just like stacked on each other. Like the guy has like hundreds
Yeah, a bunch.
of
He has tilapia
thousands
in there.
of dollars. Yeah. Oh, really?
He has tilapia. So if you catch the tilapia out of those ponds, you actually get to keep it or something like. There he has some little things going on where you can keep it or you can buy it for like a couple bucks. Or even
Yeah.
he sometimes sells his sturgeon.
Yeah.
So.
My buddy was saying it's a couple $100 though, depending on the size of your sturgeon.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Not
You get
cheap
some
at all.
eggs, and that's like a delicacy, you know.
Yeah.
Really?
Just the eggs alone is worth hundreds. So.
Really. Whew. Dang.
Might have to get in the caviar business.
Yeah.
I know. You know, if
Uh-huh.
that freezes, dude, we're freaking driving up there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Skipping work and we're driving.
You said we could if it freezes, so
I'm sick.
Yeah.
it'll
Buy
be
a
fun.
Bigger reel. I think my Mr. Big Frostbite will handle them. I just need a bigger reel that'll hold, you know, a couple, I don't know, 100 yards, 200 yards of 30-pound mono.
Like a 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a 5,000 series rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet 4,000 would do it.
Have 30-pound mono.
If you're catching,
You can't
yeah.
use braid there at those ponds, so you
Yeah.
have to use mono, and it has
Really?
to be a minimum of 30 pounds.
Mhm.
Which I would probably do 40 or 50, to be honest.
Yeah.
Why no braid?
I don't know. It's just his.
Just
I mean, they're his
rules.
pets.
Yeah, there's
It's his
pets,
pond.
everything,
So, just what he wants to do. Yeah. I know. That's what I say too.
think, like, you know, if it rubs up, they get wrapped in it, and cuts them up, everything.
Yeah.
Nah, I can see that.
Mono just stretches easier too. So, yeah. Seems like a fun place to be. So, what's your guys' dream destination? I want to hear it. Comment below. People keep commenting, but they're not responding to my questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate the comments, but someone answer me.
Answer the question that we asked.
I don't think we had anybody comment on our video for the rod. I really want to get this rod to our winner.
Yeah.
I can't do that without identifying people. So,
Yeah.
also to our new subscribers, we're up to 22 now. So,
Woo. Thank
you
you,
guys
people.
leave a comment and don't change your privacy there.
Yeah,
It's
drop a comment down below, and then you have to go into your settings, and then general settings. I think I'll put the directions on the screen if you're watching the video. But yeah, then the privacy, you know, change that to public, and then that way we can see that you're actually subscribed to us. So
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do a Christmas drawing for it and get a lucky winner there.
Yep. Next week we'll announce it. So it's good stuff. Well, should we call that a podcast?
I think so. Anything else you want to talk about?
Hopefully we get some ice.
I know.
That's it.
Yeah, we just need some ice, and then we can
Cold
actually
weather.
get out on the. Okay, what lakes are we gonna go
Yeah.
Tuesday nights to do this podcast when it freezes?
Ooh.
Jordanelle's close
Deer
Jordanelle's
Creek.
closed, Deer Creek's closed,
I wish
if
Deer
it
Creek
freezes.
Deer Creek's closed if
Uh-huh.
it freezes.
We could do a Utah Lake one. We could
Utah
do
Lake would
one.
be awesome.
Catch some white bass on
Yeah,
out on
we
the
could
marinas.
do that on the docks, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put my flip over on the docks and just.
Hang out in there, yeah.
That'd be sweet. That'd be
That'll
fun.
work.
Well, maybe we should do that next podcast.
Yeah.
Next podcast, we might do some on the ice action or on the dock action.
the
Yeah, on the dock action.
So we'll
Still fishing through the ice
see. Yeah,
on the
still
dock.
fishing, Yeah.
Yep.
Just might not be thick enough. We'll see.
All right. Well, that's the Yeet Fishing Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeet
Fishing
out.
Out.